Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our special meeting for budget adoption. This meeting is called to order. Madam Clerk, roll call.
Councilmember Golding,
Here.
Councilmember Horn,
Here.
Councilmember Jansen,
Here.
Councilmember Sutton,
Here.
Councilmember Wagner, Councilmember Wouters,
Here.
Mayor Hoffman.
Here. Wasn't Councilman Wagner going to be joining us remotely for this meeting? No? Okay. Roll call stands as originally presented. Okay, so let's see. Do we start with Ashley? Do we start with Ms. Gossett? Or do I start with my hearing statement? Sorry, I should do this. Go ahead.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Ashley Gossett, CFO. Tonight is the second of two public hearings required to adopt a millage rate and a budget. So the two resolutions for your consideration are the products of many months of hard work on the part of city staff and the city council. We held a series of 4 workshops to discuss all facets of the budget leading up to the budget hearings. And I just want to take a quick minute to introduce the budget team who kind of did all the heavy lifting to put the budget together. Ruth Harper is our budget officer, and Rebecca Crapo and Bridget Jorn are our budget analysts. And of course, every department has representation here, and they did a lot to get us to this moment. So the first resolution is to adopt the millage rate of 3.9947, and this has remained unchanged since 2018. We are well below the state average, and as you can see from this chart, the median single-family residential homeowner can expect to pay $5,226 in the upcoming year. $1,090 is the portion that will go to Jacksonville Beach. Because I got this question, I put together this chart, a kind of our historic millage rate for the 3 major taxing authorities, the county, city of Jacksonville, the school district, and then Jacksonville Beach. And as you can kind of see from Jacksonville Beach, we have had a kind of long-standing strategy across administrations, councils, and staff of kind of being steady. So we have hovered around the 4 mil mark for the last 30 years. And you can see we all took a dip in the Great Recession and then actually a jump up in the Great Recession and then a leveling out afterward. The other component, the other resolution we're going to hear tonight is to adopt the budget of $248 million. As we talked about last hearing, these are the categories of expenditures, and I just want to touch on what's driving the changes in this year. With personnel services, we are adding positions to support the service level expectations. We are increasing the required pension contribution amount by about $900,000, and the city portion of health, life, and dental insurance are increasing by about $400,000. And as stated previously, this is a contract negotiation year, and we're conducting a pay study, so the payroll was put together with the information we had at the time. And any changes as a result of the contract, which you'll be voting on tonight, and the pay plan, which will come later, will be disclosed in the agenda items what the impact on the payroll will be. But as for right now, no changes to the employee pay will be made just as a result of adopting this budget. The operating expenses increase of about $4.4 million. $2 million is strictly internal service charges, which is kind of an expense that you see it twice in the budget. That's why in the all-fund summary you see it kind of backed out. And then contract services are increasing by about $900,000, most across all business units, and that's largely with the CPI escalators within all of those agreements. And so this is another way of showing the total budget by fund. And you can see that the electric budget alone is 41% of the total budget at $101 million. And this chart is new. This is the summary of all the revenues citywide. You can see like the 65% of it are charges for services, which is kind of like the Pac-Man. And that's like the utilities and kind of governmental services recovering the fund of or recovering the cost of the city's investment in those services. So the city's general fund, which is our general operating fund, is $33 million. On the left-hand side, you can see the revenues, how we're deriving that $33 million. And on the right-hand side, you can see the expenses by department. And we always budget a balanced general fund. So general fund revenues, you can see about 57% of the revenues come from ad valorem taxes. And then the general fund expenses between police, fire, and emergency services, that's about 52% of the general fund expenditures. So I'm happy to answer any questions you may have, but I think the mayor also has her statement to read.
Thank you, Ms. Gossett. The first item to be discussed is the millage rate. The budget for the city of Jacksonville Beach was prepared using millage rate of 3.9947 mils. The rolled back rate is 3.8136 mils. The proposed millage rate of 3.9947 mils is 4.75%, more than the rolled back rate. The second item to be discussed is the operating budget. The operating budget for fiscal year 2025 to 2026 is $248,040,185. The public hearing is now open. Would anyone like to speak on either of these items? The public hearing is closed. Can I have a motion on item A?
I move we adopt resolution number 2196-2025, adopting the millage rate for fiscal year 2025-2026 of 3.9947 mils.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion by council? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, roll call.
Councilmember Golding,
Yes.
Councilmember Horn,
Yes.
Councilmember Jansen,
Yes.
Councilmember Sutton,
Yes.
Councilmember Wouters,
Yes.
Mayor Hoffman.
Yes, motion carries. Item B.
I move we adopt resolution number 2197-2025, adopting the operating budget for fiscal year 2025-2026 of $248,040,185.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? They all came on at the same time. I'm just going to go down the dais. Mr. Sutton.
Ashley, I don't recall having a discussion about it in detail, but I was wondering if you or maybe Kim could outline. I think you said the benefits were somewhere increased between 400,000 and 500,000 or so. Do you have a breakdown of that?
Yes. Yes, sir. 1 second.
I just didn't know if that was premium increases or directly related to salary increases and therefore adjustments like in group term life or.
So, health insurance was moving up by about $192,000, and this is 5%. And this is based on the information we had when we prepared the budget. I think we're still awaiting those the total finalized costs to come in, but we are budgeting entity-wide about $200,000 for health insurance. We are budgeting about $213,000 in workers' comp insurance. And largely that's to reflect the increasing premiums and then also kind of make sure we have adequate reserve within our workers' comp insurance fund. And I guess
Okay,
if there's
thank you.
details about that, I might have to
That's
defer
good.
to HR.
Nope, that's good. Thanks.
Mr. Wouters.
Thank you, Mayor. And thank you, Ms. Gossett, to you and your team for all your hard work. The citizens and residents truly appreciate it. As we talked about earlier, am I correct in saying our revenues were about 170 million in 2020 and our expenses were about 164 million?
So in fiscal year 2020, we budgeted about 170 million in revenues total, and then 164 million in expenditures.
Thank you. And as we talked about last time, so this year we're projecting $25 million more expenditures and revenues that we're going to cover through some reserves we have.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and so just to share with this honorable dais, I know you all understand math, but that's an increase of 50% in our expenditures since 2020, increase of $85 million. I hope moving forward we can think of ways to save money for the people who are paying our bills. And Ms. Gossett, one last question, if I may. Do you think that spending $25 million more than we're taking in is sustainable over the long term?
So I will say this, we went back and looked closely at the difference between the revenues for this year and the expenses because we do budget on a cash basis. And when we reviewed that, we found that there are almost $14.5 million in capital projects that are strictly a rebudget from 2025. The departments have not been able to execute them in the fiscal year given all the other things going on, so they chose to rebudget them in 26. So I would say the $25 million difference, just back off 14 from there because that was already sitting in reserve. Because we will not budget a project in a year that we do not have funds on hand to undertake. So on the long term, we have finite reserves. So we cannot budget a deficiency each and every year. But in individual years, it is appropriate sometimes that we would be spending more than we're taking in because we are on a pay-go philosophy to fund our capital projects.
Thank you for your thoughtful answer, and I hope that this is an aberration. Thank you.
Mr. Jansen.
So, yeah, a lot of hard work in this past year, and so you get a 2-week break, and then you can start next year. Okay.
Pretty much.
So I just wanted to say a couple things. So, number one, I'm very proud of the work that you've done and the department heads have done. It's a lot of work to put in, and we've had to make some radical changes in this past year. We increased the size of our police department by 6% by adding more officers. We increased the salaries to be the highest paid in Northeast Florida. We improved the quality of life with our parks. Take a look at Gonzalez Park. Take a look at some of the infrastructure improvements that we have done throughout the city through Dennis Barron's leadership. And then our communications plan has been improved greatly, and we're looking at adopting another person in that role. We also have had utility reliability issues that we had to work on through Beaches Energy. So I see where the money is going out a little bit more this year than I've seen in the past because we've had some years that weren't like this. And I've had that 7 years of experience to kind of lean on a little bit and see. I think all in all, we did a wonderful job. We kept the millage rate standard. So that's a big, huge win for us. And I think that you guys are doing a great job.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Jansen. I want to echo that. I think I've always been impressed with the city of Jacksonville Beach for not just looking at the past, current, and coming year, but trying to think 5-10 years in advance and really anticipate especially those capital needs that our city's going to have. So I can appreciate you thoughtfully answering those questions and really confirming, especially now when local governments are really under a microscope. I feel very, very good and continue to feel very good about how Jacksonville Beach is managing its budget. And that's you guys. We come in and sit in the budget hearings and we look at the bottom line, but you guys are really the ones that are doing that work and making it something that we can feel really comfortable defending and being proud of. So thank you to you and your team and to the department heads and your teams for putting this all together and giving us that confidence. I would love to see this presentation up on our website. I don't think it was part of the agenda packet, but I think it's a really good snapshot for our citizens to see and understand. Again, I've even felt a lot more interest in our budget this year, again, because it is kind of under that, in general, local governments are under that microscope. So I think it behooves us to share this as much as we can with our residents and anyone else who might be interested. Seeing no other lights, Madam Clerk, roll call.
Councilmember Horn,
Yes.
Councilmember Jansen,
Yes.
Councilmember Sutton,
Yes.
Councilmember Wouters,
No.
Councilmember Golding,
Yes.
Mayor Hoffman.
Yes, motion carries. Thank you, everyone. This meeting is adjourned. We will reconvene at 6 o'clock for our regular city council meeting.
Are we meeting Friday?
No, I'm going to be out of town.
Okay, now the following Friday is Pumpkin Spice Donut. However, you're gonna have to start a little early because I'm technically not working that day.
Why aren't you working? Hot mic. Yeah, exactly. They're willing. Anyway, good evening. Welcome to the September 15th regular city council meeting. We will begin with the invocation followed by the salute to the flag led by Councilman Horn. Please rise.
Nope. All right, let us pray. Good and gracious Heavenly Father, I thank you for the beauty of this day. I thank you for salvation that is afforded to us through your Son, Jesus. Lord, I would ask that you would guide this group as we work towards serving the citizens of Jacksonville Beach on this dais. Heavenly Father, I would ask for your protection over our members of our armed forces, the police officers, our fire department, our EMS, our lifeguards, as they continue to serve and protect us in our day-to-day lives. Heavenly Father, I would also ask for comfort and for you to provide only you could provide the comfort that is needed for the family of Charlie Kirk, for his wife and his children as they struggle through this tragedy. Lord, I thank you for the blessings that you have given us, and I thank you for the chance that we get to serve you here today. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This meeting is called to order. Madam Clerk, roll call.
Councilmember Golding,
Here.
Councilmember Horn,
Here.
Councilmember Jansen,
Here.
Councilmember Sutton,
Here.
Councilmember Wagner, Councilmember Wouters,
Here.
Mayor Hoffman.
Here, moving on to approval of minutes, item A.
I move we approve the regular city council meeting held on September 2nd, 2025.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. B.
I move we approve the special council meeting held on September 3rd, 2025.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item C.
I move we approve the council briefing held on September 8th, 2025.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Ms. Golding.
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to bring up that there were some specific items that were discussed in the briefing that required follow-up, and I would like for us to document those in the minutes. Specifically for the golf course topic, Trevor was going to follow up on the following. Implementing a deposit for tee times. He was going to research that, and possible changes to the senior first responder military discount. And then for the purchasing manual topic, Ashley was going to follow up on the following. Bids with only one response. I think she and David were going to look into language in the solicitation documents that would give council the option to limit renewals, to promote competition. And then petty cash, could we reduce the dollar value, and she was going to look at that further. So I'd like to make a motion that we amend the city council briefing minutes from September 8th, 2025 with these topics that I've mentioned.
We have motion to amend. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion on the amendments? Ms. Golding?
I just wanted to add that I think it's important when we have items that require follow-up that they be documented, and so that's why I wanted to make sure that these were in there.
I do not think you will find disagreement on this dais. Any other discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Amendment carries. Back to the original motion as amended. Any other discussion? Mr. Wouters?
Thank you, Mayor. I didn't, I should have, David, I would like to have included in the minutes that we are going to, as discussed, be sure that we have more time to get the agenda. How do I say that?
Was it in the minutes?
It was in the minutes.
Then my opinion is there's no need for any further amendments because what you're asking is already in there and the motion is to approve it with it in there.
Okay, thank you, David. I withdraw.
Any other questions or comments? All in favor of the minutes as amended, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Approval of the agenda.
I move we approve the agenda.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Agenda is approved. Announcements. Ms. Golding.
Thank you, Mayor. So I wanted to let everyone know that October 1st, that Beaches Watch will be hosting a meeting that is entitled Learn How Our City Attorneys Protect Our Cities. And our distinguished city attorney, David Miggett, will be there along with the Atlantic Beach and Neptune Beach city attorneys, and they will be discussing things so that citizens can learn. I think, they're behind the scenes a lot of times, and citizens don't really understand what they're doing. And so they'll be talking about what they do, the issues that they're dealing with in their respective communities. And they'll also talk about the Live Local Act, because citizens have had a lot of questions about that, and the financial disclosure for elected officials, any updates on that. And that will be October 1st at 7 p.m. at the Beaches Museum Chapel. It's a different location, but that's because the library is having a new AC put in. So October 1st, 7 p.m. at the Beaches Museum Chapel. The other item I wanted to bring up, since I have an opportunity to talk publicly, I want to talk about something that's very near and dear to my heart, and that is homeless animals in our community. And I don't know if anybody knows this, but all of our homeless pets are either at Jacksonville Humane Society or at the city shelter. And the Jacksonville City Shelter is well over capacity. They have 400 dogs there right now, and capacity is 264. So that's 151% capacity at the shelter. So the reason I bring this up is my husband and I are currently fostering a big, goofy, happy dog who was struggling in the shelter. He actually lost 13 pounds in the 1 month that he was at the shelter. And, it's not they do the best that they can do at the shelter, but I just want to raise this issue so people know that there are a lot of great dogs and cats at the city shelter, and want to urge people to help in some way. There are different ways you can help. If you have room in your home, you can foster or you can adopt. I know the mayor has fostered dogs in the past. If you can't do that, you can go to the shelter and give a dog a break. They have a program that's called Dog Day Out, and you just check them out like a library book, so to speak, but you can take them out for the day, go to a park, or some people just let them sit in their car and they sleep because they're so tired from the stress of the shelter. But it doesn't take a lot of your time. You don't have to take them home. You can just do something with them. You can volunteer to walk the dogs, because that's one way that they get enrichment, or you can donate enrichment items that will help them while they're waiting for their forever home. And you can donate money. The money also helps to treat heartworm positive dogs, which is an issue we have here in Florida. And the other thing you can do is you can share them on social media. Anytime you see any dogs or cats that are posted that are part of the shelter, you can share them, and hopefully somebody out there will see them and it will be that match that they need. So I just wanted to make people aware of this, because there are so many things that we can do to help the situation that we have with the overcrowding at the shelter. Just go to www.coj.net/pets, and there's a lot of good information there about how you can volunteer, how you can do a dog day out. Last but not least, I'll get off my soapbox now. I want to mention birthdays. We had Chief Smith had a birthday yesterday. He was here earlier, so now I can't embarrass him. Where is he? And then our fellow council member, Bill Horn, is having a birthday on Wednesday. So happy birthday early. And we will not sing to you. We'll maintain our tradition.
I think Mr. Sutton should.
I will allow Mr. Sutton to serenade me, only him.
Thank you, Ms. Golding. Mr. Jansen?
Yeah, so I just want to touch on something that Mr. Horn said in his invocation. So my family and I were on a vacation out of the country, so we were kind of disconnected cellularly and with Wi-Fi. So when we returned, we saw that the nation seemed to be upside down on its head politically. And oftentimes I do get to do the invocation, and so this time I did not. So I do want to echo some sentiments. And the first thing that comes to mind is a Bible verse, Matthew 10:22, which seems to be going around prolifically on social media. And it says, "And you will be hated for all for my name's sake, but the one who endures to the end will be saved." I just want to make the statement that whether your political beliefs are conservative, liberal, libertarian, whatever they are, we should be able to debate sensibly and eloquently without having to resort to assassinations or anything such as that. Evildoers will do evil things. Murder is still murder, regardless of what your political beliefs or your background is. I'm here to tell you that God has another plan.
Thank you, Mr. Jansen. Mr. Wouters?
Thank you, Mayor. I too want to thank Councilman Horn for his powerful remarks and thank Mr. Jansen for his beautiful statement. I was lucky enough on September 11th to attend the vigil at Jarbo Park, and I want to thank the Neptune Beach Police and the Jacksonville Beach Police for their strong presence there. Everyone felt safe, and I know that all the people who are there really appreciate y'all and your show of force. Thank you so much. And I did want to give a shout out to Mr. Diamond for organizing the event and all the good people who showed up. And finally, as I've been thinking about Mr. Kirk and everything, I cannot help but think of 2 Timothy 4:7, which reads, "I have fought the good fight. I have finished my course, and I have kept the faith. May he rest in peace." Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wouters. Any other announcements from council? So I will just comment on the terrible weekend that I had with all 3 of my football teams losing. Starting with, unfortunately, Fletcher was defeated by Nice in their homecoming game. But I am very excited to announce that Sophie Robertson and Trenton Green were crowned HOCO. That's what the kids are calling it these days. HOCO King and Queen, and Sophie is a neighbor of mine, so that was really exciting to hear. Congratulations to them. Hopefully everyone had fun. The weather was amazing this weekend. I hope everyone got out to enjoy it, and a great place to do that was FinFest. Congratulations to our team for putting together a really wonderful event. It was a lot of fun, well attended, and seemed to be a really great crowd. This morning I had the opportunity to attend the opening ceremonies of the 66th iteration of UNITAS, which is a multinational Navy exercise that has mostly navies from the Americas, but this year they also are including Japan, Germany, and some other navies from other continents in this exercise. And so it was really neat to see everyone gathered to kick this off right here in Mayport. And we may see some visitors as well as some activity off of our coast as they begin their exercises here in the next couple of days. And the best part was driving down the pier and seeing a Peruvian sub and then sending it to Ed Malin. And when I say Peruvian sub, I am not talking about the sandwich. So that was really the highlight of the morning, but it was all very exciting. So it's really neat to have them here, and you can tell there's also a lot of excitement on base about the upcoming air show. So we're glad to see that coming soon. Any other announcements? Courtesy of the floor, I do not have any speaker cards, so we'll move to our consent agenda.
I move we approve the consent agenda.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Consent agenda approved. City manager, new business. This is Karen. Ms. Nelson.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. This item is putting before you the collective bargaining agreement between the city and the Fraternal Order of Police. This is a agreement that will expire on September 30th, so just a few days away. We began negotiations with the union on April 1st of this year. We held a total of 7 meetings, and on August 22nd, the parties reached a tentative agreement. The union took the contract to a vote on August 25th, and the members voted to ratify the agreement. You have in your packet a chart with the major provisions that are being amended within this agreement, but we focus primarily on retirement and the pay grade schedule. So what the city and the union agreed to is a 3-year agreement effective 10/1 of 25 through 9/30 of 28. There's a typo in your packet. It says 9/3. 9/30 of 28, but there is a reopener in year 3 for wages only. For wages, the parties agreed on a 5% increase effective 10/1 of 2025 and a 5% increase effective 10/1 of 2026, and then of course a reopener in year 3. For retirement, the maximum benefit will be increased on effective 10/1 of 2025 from $100,000 maximum to $110,000. And then on 10/1 of 26, an increase to $111,000 for the hard cap. And on 10/1 of 27, an increase to $112,000 for the hard cap. In all cases, the 90% cap stays in place. This is just moving the monetary cap. Other amendments with a significant or a financial impact would be the 2% shift differential, which is something we are adding this year for the first time. It provides for a 2% incentive pay for all hours worked between the hours of 8:30 p.m. and 4 a.m. There are several other provisions here, and I'm happy to discuss and answer any questions that you may have. I also want to point out that Sergeant David Cohill and Corporal Scott O'Connell are here with us representing the FOP, and I do want to say thank you to them and to the entire team for conducting a truly professional and productive negotiating session. Always really a pleasure to work with that particular team and come together and put forth an agreement that we all feel is in the best interest of our police department. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Nelson. And a motion?
I move we approve the collective bargaining agreement with the Fraternal Order of Police for a 3-year term effective October 1st, 2025 with a reopener in year 3 for wages only.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Mr. Jansen.
Yeah, I'm just going to reiterate what we talked about in our budget meeting, since this is a different meeting. So we've had to make radical changes in our budget, and one of those is the very stuff that you're referring to, increasing the size of our department by 6%, increasing wages so that we're the highest paid officers in Northeast Florida, putting in that shift differential. All of this is well deserved for our police department. They do an awesome job. They have an awesome leader. And the Fraternal Order of Police does a fantastic job of supporting our officers as well. So thank you for working with them, and thank you, officers, for negotiating evenly with the city.
Thank you, Mr. Jansen. Mr. Horn?
I, again, echo everything that Councilman Jansen said. I truly appreciate the service that our law enforcement provides to our community. Again, there's a lot of jobs out there, police, fire, and even teachers, that you literally can't pay these people enough money to do what they do. And I thank our city staff for kind of looking ahead. I remember this is my 3rd year on council, and I remember in the first few years, I remember GP kind of wringing his hands, and we had injuries, we had people leaving, we had people that didn't want to be here, and now we've got a full complement of officers. We've got a full complement of very skilled officers because of some of the changes we implemented in regards to acquiring talented staff, and I think that is a testament to the city staff and their efforts, a testament to Chief Smith and his department, and people want to be here. Jack's Beach is a great place to be. It's a busy place. It's a hard place to work, but at the same time, we're going to do everything we can to make it great for you guys, and happy to support this.
Mr. Wouters.
Thank you, Mayor. Of course, I want to echo what both these gentlemen said, but before I joined this dais, of course, safety became a big issue, and I want to congratulate my colleagues for stepping up to the plate and doing the right thing and getting the money these people deserve to keep our citizens safe. So I tip my hat to everyone sitting up here. Thank you.
Any other comments? I would echo my colleagues and also to say I can't remember a time that we've actually gotten this done in time to not have to do retroactive payment, but that just speaks to the preparation of both teams and the cooperation and collaboration to get it done in a thoughtful but expeditious manner, and I appreciate that. And I know that we all do as we get ready to start our next fiscal year. So thank you all for that. Seeing no other comments, Madam Clerk, roll call.
Councilmember Golding,
Yes.
Councilmember Horn,
Yes.
Councilmember Jansen,
Yes.
Councilmember Sutton,
Yes.
Councilmember Wouters,
Yes.
Mayor Hoffman.
Yes, motion carries. I meant to mention earlier that this is the last meeting of our fiscal year. So make yourselves comfortable as we go through the next couple issues. Mr. Varian.
Yes. Welcome, Mayor and Council. This is my first item of the night. I have several. So the first one before you is bid number 2425-08 to PARS Construction Services for reconstruction and replacement of 20 dune walkovers. This was a project carried over from earlier the same fiscal year where we were bidding the same project, ended up with a different result, ended up moving ahead without awarding that at this time. So this is in essence the same work that we were doing previously, just with a new set of bidders and a new contract to move forward. But the other thing is before it was split into two separate fiscal years. Now, because of not getting it awarded last year, it's all going to be in the same year, so that all the work will be done over the next 6 months outside of turtle season beginning November.
Thank you, Mr. Barron. And a motion?
I move we award bid number 2425-08 to PARS Construction Services, LLC for the dune walkover replacement project for an amount not to exceed $3,244,488.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Ms. Golding.
Thank you, Mayor. So I just want to go on record to make everyone aware that, in case you didn't, last December is when we had the opportunity to approve the bid for the walkovers, and we didn't. And as a result, we had to defer this. And I don't know if you guys did the math, but what we are approving tonight is now $800,000 more than what we were going to approve last December. I'm very frustrated and very disappointed because we have several walkovers in my district that didn't get done, that are in bad shape, and now things have been pushed off and we're gonna have to pay $800 or more. I calculated it. I don't know if my numbers are exactly right, but I just want everybody to understand that this is unfortunately the situation that we deal with when we end up, putting things off. We can end up with having to pay more money. And I just wanted to take this opportunity to express this and my frustration about the situation we're in now.
Any other questions or comments from council? Mr. Horn.
The four bids that we have, I guess I was surprised to see that we didn't have anything from the last company that did construction for us, Greenway Construction. And I agree with Councilman Golding. I was actually going back and trying to find, I honestly, at this point, I can't remember the discussion that we had and why we canceled that last one. I know that, and I don't know if it was cost or if it was, I'm trying to remember what the issue was that we did not do the last one. But I remember a few years ago when we did not approve a budgeted item, which was close to, this was about this price and it was a little high. I mean, are we doing this because it's the lowest bid and we need to get these done? Is this a reasonable price? Because I think in November of 23, and this is what I asked Mike about earlier, Greenway Construction did 17 walkovers for 1.5 million with the fees and associated costs. And so it was 17 at 1.5, and now we're at 20 for 3.5. Is there anything that we're missing? Is there something that occurred that
There, unfortunately, we
Not getting
solicited
bids.
to 22 different firms when this bid came out. So the procurement department sent basically our requested bid. Hey, this bid's new on the street to 22 firms, including the ones that all bid last time. So we had it all covered. But what it amounts to is a lot of it comes back to timing. If a contractor is busy, they might throw you a bid that's not anywhere in their wheelhouse simply because they're too busy. But if you're willing to pay extra money, they're willing to figure out how to make it happen. So unfortunately, we can't control who does and doesn't bid. So we requested from 22 different construction firms and we got 4 or 5. 5, I'm sorry. I mean, it's really just anybody's call as to what we're going to get or why they do or don't bid again. I mean, again, the last time you spoke of was in December of 24. We had a bid protest that was related to that and the bid documents. Remember, we had a meeting
now.
where we had some attorneys come in and we did all that,
Now I-
and ultimately we answered as to not build them and construct them at that time. As far as the $800,000 more, I didn't get into the pennies. I knew it was between 750 and 800, roughly, just ballpark in dollars. More dollars, I can't tell you as to what that individual cost is. If it's just an overall cost of materials, it's an overall cost just simply because the contractors are all busy. It could be anything that warrants whatever they want to charge. So that's, I mean, volatility of the market. I mean, I think I listed a whole bunch of stuff. Can change, and I don't know what those are because I'm not in control of that. All I can do is see the bids when they come in, and then we got to decide, does this make sense? Is there a cost savings we can do? Anything we can value engineer, or are we better to award it at the price that we have because this is the true competitive low bid? And unfortunately, if we get to the point where we're advertising and we're not awarding to low bidders, we're going to get nobody to bid anymore because they're not going to want to invest their time to try to do it. So it's one of those that's a catch-22. You know, I don't know. I wish there was a different solution. We don't have one.
But
so
the
this is
statement
what-
that you just gave will be a decision made by us, but under your guidance. And I guess I've seen memos that have come through, and you say, yeah, I don't recommend that you approve this, and this is kind of yes, no. So do you think? Yeah, I agree with you in that if we keep rejecting these and we look like somebody, the jilted date, somebody who keeps standing somebody up, and it'll be hard. But at the same time, is this monetarily in your best estimation, do you think this is a reasonable bid?
I do from what I've seen as far as everything that come across, and I did all the comparisons with last time. With the other bidders that we had and where we were at, those had really two bidders that were really close and really low. And that's why we ended up with the bid protest and a few other things. And we made some corrections. We made sure those previous players were invited to the table. So I don't have any good answers. I mean, really what I can say is I'm not sure waiting again for another whole year to get back to this point is going to give us any different result. And if anything, it could go up again. And so with our budget, with where this is at, because half of this dollars is in this fiscal year today, the other half of this is in the money you just approved at the previous meeting. So I'm at that spot where I've got both avenues of funding to be able to do all of it right now. Anything further would be rebudgeting and looking forward again to next year to be able to do anything, because the turtle season, working outside the turtle season, we've got to get the construction ready to go by November. And that's kind of where we fell apart last time. Once we got deep into December, we're already 2 months behind the turtle season 6-month window to do the construction. So there was some other reasons beyond just the the bid protest that caused the
Yeah.
decision making to say we were just going to flat run out of time of turtle season by the time they could get materials and begin. So here we're out in front of it a little bit earlier, so they got a little bit more time to get prepped. They got a month and a half to start getting stuff ordered and getting ready to go. So our intention is they're going to hit the ground running. I'm going to aim them at 14th, which is the one I just took apart last weekend, 2 weekends. I don't know, they all blur together, but we had to take it apart because we had boards that were coming up loose and it became a tripping hazard. So rather than address it, we just removed it. So again, that's where we're at, is we're starting to remove them as being hazards. Do we want to be in that condition for another year?
Would I prefer to see the cost lower? Yes. Do I understand that we're in a situation where we got to get these done? Yes. I think we may have, just gotten really lucky last round and we got a really good deal. We got some good work done, but okay, thank you.
Ms. Golding?
Yeah, I just wanted to do a quick follow-up. When this came before us in December, we sent this out to 19 companies and we only got 3. So we don't have a very good track record of getting a lot of companies. And like you, I'm disappointed that the ones that the company that did the 17 didn't bid, because they did a good job. Yeah. And the other thing is that, we certainly had the opportunity to take the next lowest bidder, and what they had proposed was minimally more than what the one that got rejected was. But now we're in a position where we're going to be paying a lot more. But I just wanted to clarify that.
Mr. Wouters?
Thank you, Mayor. Director Barron, I was just curious, if this goes through, is Public Works going to be in charge of the maintenance?
The ongoing maintenance, when they're done, we will, yes. But They will, at this point, this will be the final 20 within the city to be reconstructed. So at this point, we could say, since the first one was the very first ADA, which was under construction when I got here. So in the last 6 years, we will have completed all of them across our board to rebuild them from that point, which would include starting with the 4 ADA and then moving to the rest of the beach area.
Okay, so hopefully we can plan accordingly for that. We're going to spend all this money. Let's keep them functional. Thank you.
Mr. Jansen?
So reflecting back on that last bid process, I felt like there was maybe a potential lawsuit looming because of the conflicts in the bidding process. And I think that might have been one of the reasons why we shied away from it back then. But that aside, I don't know if this question is for you or maybe our city manager. Wasn't there some talk of congressional funding out of Congressman Rutherford's office for dune walkovers for all 3 cities? And I don't know if that would be in a reimbursement grant status where we can recoup some of this money. If it's you have to wait or delay and wait for them to come through, then I would not suggest doing that. But
You want to take a stab, or you want me to?
No, I was going to say, I believe the mayor and I were both in the same meeting with Congressman Rutherford when we discussed that. And it is a apply and wait process. It's not a reimbursement after the fact. So that if we did want to go down that road, we would be postponing this project again.
no, I don't recommend that.
I seem to recall that we missed the window on it anyway. So the timing of our project, both times, would have missed that funding window. And I think that program is one of the ones that didn't go on. If I said that correctly. Any other questions? Mr. Jansen, your light's still on. You good? Madam Clerk, roll call.
Councilmember Horn,
Yes.
Councilmember Jansen,
Yes.
Councilmember Sutton,
Yes.
Councilmember Wouters,
Yes.
Councilmember Golding,
Yes.
Mayor Hoffman.
Yes, motion carries. Motion 2.
I move that we award agreement with Fort Waters Engineering for construction administration services for the amount not to exceed $148,554 for this project.
Second.
We have motion and a second. Any discussion? Madam Clerk, roll call.
Councilmember Jansen,
Yes.
Councilmember Sutton,
Yes.
Councilmember Wouters,
Yes.
Councilmember Golding,
Yes.
Councilmember Horn,
Yes.
Mayor Hoffman.
Yes, motion carries. Motion 3.
I move we authorize the mayor and city manager to negotiate and execute any contract as a result of this bid award.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Madam Clerk, roll call.
Councilmember Sutton,
Yes.
Councilmember Wouters,
Yes.
Councilmember Golding,
Yes.
Councilmember Horn,
Yes.
Councilmember Jansen,
Yes.
Mayor Hoffman.
Yes, motion carries. Next up, Mr. Barron.
Okay, item number 2, this is for bid number 2425-10, which is the Water Reclamation Facility Filter Upgrade Project. So the basis of this project is to replace our final, what I call our final finishing filters before the water goes to reuse to the golf course and other places for irrigational reuse. It is the backbone of our Senate Bill 64 solution. Before I can stop sending water to our surface water discharge, I have to be able to clean it up to the point where I can consistently send it to the golf course. Our biggest flaw when we looked at that was the maintenance required of our current disc filters, the life status of what they are, and the amount of maintenance that's required to keep them up and operating at the level that they need to. So this is kind of our fundamental first real big project that's directly tied to Senate Bill 64. I did email all of you last week concerning the budget on this project because obviously we went over budget as it went and got from the final 70% to the final drawings. Some of that can be attributed to some piping work that we attached to the project. Some other part is kind of attached to where we finally settled on filter placement at the water reclamation facility, and then part of it is tied back to just the cost. The cost of the filters went up immensely within the last year. From the time where we had initial design started and our recommendation to move forward to ultimately what it turned into purchasing them. So all of those drove costs up within the last 12 months on this project. So, and I think, like I said, we spent a lot of time internally discussing it with individual staff to be able to be assured that this was where we wanted to spend extra money to be able to get this project gone and underway so that we can be ready for the Senate Bill 64 as we produce towards our 2031 deadline for that.
And motion, please.
I move we award bid number 2425-10 to Petticoat Schmidt Civil Contractors Incorporated for the Water Reclamation Facility Filter Upgrade Project for an amount not to exceed $7,541,270.
Second?
I got it. Motion and a second, Ms. Golding.
So I want to point out something to everyone, including the audience, that the 7.5 million is a lot of money, and this is because this is an unfunded mandate, right, from the state that we have to do this work, and we're only getting 1.75 million from the state. So I just want everyone to realize that you know the state's requiring us to do stuff, but they're not really helping us get those things done. The other thing is a question I have for you, Dennis, because I was looking at the bid comparisons and I noticed that on, I guess it was item 6 on Petticoat Schmidt, their number was extremely low compared to all the other bidders. And I didn't know, does that raise a red flag for you at all? Item 6 and then also item 19. Their bid, what they proposed is at least half of the next closest, and it's like $304,000, and then the highest was $1 million. Does that raise any red flags for you?
It does not, of course, until we get to an award where we can have the conversation to find out what the contractor has got in mind. I have no idea. They might have a construction technique where they're going to directional bore everything and not have to do the restoration. It's fully allowed to do that and choose an alternate path rather than open a trench down the middle of the golf course to put a 30-inch pipe in, which is huge. That's going to be a major issue. But if they were to decide to directional bore that and want to do it a different direction, their cost of restoration would go down significantly because they wouldn't be disturbing all the turf. So I have no idea. The other thing is contractors can kind of pick and choose where they want to put their overhead, where they want to put their, their profit margin as you want to see. So that's why we do it overall with the number of bids, and we do the items, and we try to get the items narrowed out to something that we can utilize for as we get to. There were some items included in this that are high dollar items as well, so that we could determine if we decide not to go with them, we can pull them out and back them out if that's what we determine to do later too. So they tried to do that down by bids. That's why I prefer to see a lot less lump sum bids and a lot more per item bids, because that way I'm only paying for the work that gets done. And if we've got 10 valves here and that's what we're paying, that's fine. But if it goes to 12, I got a number where if it's a lump sum, I got to go renegotiate that number, and it could change dramatically between what's in a bid and what's done later. So I'm not, because I'm looking at the overall package when it comes to the numbers. They're got to be good with the numbers that they submitted. So they've obviously got other ideas for construction, or they've got their funding pushed into other categories. So I'm not sure I can answer any better than as to why one particular category. I'll ask them when I get to the construction meeting, but by then we're already far enough down to award. They may not have an answer, or they may not provide one.
Okay, I just didn't know if you knew. Thank you.
Mr. Horn?
Quick question with the significant increase in the the significant increase in the cost of that filter. What's the longevity on that filter?
The filters, they are 20 years, is what we usually budget for when we're buying items for the wastewater plant, although a lot of our items exceed that 20 year before we end up getting them ultimately replaced. So the ones we have now have just been higher maintenance than what I think we thought we were going to get involved in, and these are significantly less maintenance, so that means they're going to work better and longer without having to have to be taken down and taken offline.
And the filters we have currently have been in use for how long?
I don't have that, but I can find that out. It's been a while, because I don't know when they were added at the plant, so I don't have that info, but okay. I can get it back to you.
No, I know we did. For some reason I wanted to start thinking that we had awarded something similar, or I know we've done several awards for the water treatment plant over the last few years, and it just struck me as I wasn't sure if we were paying for something we'd already paid for recently. So, but it's been there for a while, is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay, is it reaching end of life?
I don't know if they're reaching end in life as much as it's just, what we bought into wasn't exactly what we want to have for maintenance purposes on the back end. And now that we're spending all of our time on maintenance, trying to make sure we get good water, and then the Senate Bill 64 mandating that to be able to send it to the golf course, it has to pass all tests. I got to guess that while nobody's talked about what's going to happen when it doesn't, but we have to have a back door somehow, some way, and I don't know what that might entail. So rather than having that conversation this early in the game, it's easy to go back to the fundamental piece that says what's going to get us the cleanest water consistently, and that's replacing the filters to start.
And I agree with Councilwoman Golding in that it's very frustrating to have unfunded mandates heaped upon us.
Mr. Jansen?
I'll be the third one to echo. There's a lot of echoing going on up in this dice. So when it comes to mandates and preemptions by the state, they do get costly, and that's one of the reasons why this dice goes over to Tallahassee, and we fight tooth and nail for all the things that are good for our citizens in Jax Beach. So as far as the timeline is concerned, am I correct in assuming that we are well ahead of schedule and that we should meet the deadline way early, or how are we looking as far as, because the state has a deadline? Yes, for Senate Bill 64.
So the state has a deadline for implementation of Senate Bill 64. They call it by 2032, but when you really look at it, it's December 31st, 2031. So I just automatically say that it's not 2032, it's 2031 we have to have this done by. And I know it's only one day, but in reality, it could be a whole year's worth of interpretation in people's mind when they start looking at it. So we are on track. Everything that we have to be our complete Senate Bill 64 is included in the CIP budget that you just produced, or that you just approved at the previous meeting. So with that, if we meet that timeline, that means by the time we hit that 2030, my projects are all done and we're already there. So we'll be a year, probably two ahead of schedule when we get there, depending on what increased reuse we have as we get the main line running up Penman and we decide what parks we're going to feed and where we're going to pick up our extra footage to increase the needed irrigation that we need to be able to do that.
Excellent. Thank you.
Mr. Wouters.
Thank you, Mayor. Pardon me. Director Barron, so please help me to understand, forgive me for not having any background knowledge on some stuff like this. So does the state come out and test this water?
We test the water, and then our samples get entered into the computer, and they go to the state.
And are they currently in compliance or not?
They are, yes.
And so we don't know if we've used up to 20 years of the current filter we have.
I don't know.
The expected life.
I mean, so the gut, it's the guts that's inside the filters that are wearing out and causing to have to do extra work. They're basically, I wish I had one, but they're basically a big piece of plastic, and we're having people glue fabric material onto these discs and then stack all these discs inside the unit. And basically, by the time they get done gluing all this fabric together for one unit, we put it in service. The other two units need to be done, and what it gets to is we have one person all day, every day, doing nothing but gluing fabric to plastic filters to be able to be ahead of the maintenance schedule. And so when you think about that, I only have 9 maintenance people overall doing all of the wastewater plants and the water plants and the 38 lift stations, to have one person assigned to the relentless task of gluing fabric to a disc over and over and over and over all day, every day. The maintenance on that is what's driving up, and the fact that they're wanting to get their person back out of this office and back out into the field, and rather than putting pieces together and gluing fabric together, recommended we investigate new filters that'll be able to be less maintenance on the back end, to where they already come pre-assembled. We slide them in and we're done, and we're not trying to put these together like a Home Depot do-it-yourself shop.
Thank you, Director.
No other lights on the board. Madam Clerk, roll call.
Councilmember Wouters,
No.
Councilmember Golding,
Yes.
Councilmember Horn,
Yes.
Councilmember Jansen,
Yes.
Councilmember Sutton,
Yes.
Mayor Hoffman.
Yes, motion carries. Motion 2.
I move we award the agreement with Dewberry Engineering for construction administration services for an amount not to exceed $136,896 for this project.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Madam Clerk, roll call.
Councilmember Wouters,
Yes.
Councilmember Golding,
Yes.
Councilmember Horn,
Yes.
Councilmember Jansen,
Yes.
Councilmember Sutton,
Yes.
Mayor Hoffman.
Yes, motion carries. Motion 3.
I move we authorize the mayor and city manager to negotiate and execute any contract as a result of this bid award.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Any questions or comments by council? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, roll call.
Councilmember Golding,
Yes.
Councilmember Horn,
Yes.
Councilmember Jansen,
Yes.
Councilmember Sutton,
Yes.
Councilmember Wouters,
Yes.
Mayor Hoffman.
Yes. Moving on to item D. Guess who?
Item
Mr.
D,
Barron.
they get easier. Promise you. This item here is award for RFP contract number 10-2425, which is for debris monitoring services. This is a standby contract in the event that we have major debris cleanup that needs to be done for any of the various adventures in weather that we may have in Northeast Florida. And no, I'm not going to say it. So here we are. So anyway, this is a contract that we put in place. This is literally a measuring contract. And as horrible as that sounds, it's a requirement for FEMA reimbursement that not only does you have to have one contractor to collect it, but you have to have a different contractor to be able to verify the numbers and the sizes of the piles and make sure all the numbers add up at the end. This particular firm, I know where we're at on the not having a lot of bidders. I will say this is the at least third 5-year contract with this firm. This firm has focused, this is their niche. They don't go out and try to get all the other work there is. The only work they go after is this monitoring part of the contract. So they have worked to create this entity which lets them continue to be the go-to when it comes to it. So I know when there's questions about only having one bidder, this is another one of those where we ask for a whole bunch of people to bid and we get one. And we've consistently, over the past 2 previous bid cycles of 5 years, this is the only company that ever applies with this. So I'm not worried about only having one. I'm not worried about having any competition. We only utilize them in the event we have to call and engage contractors for a major cleanup, for whatever event that might be. These are multi-year contracts. I will also say that the other beach communities both piggyback off of this contract. So in the event we have a storm, we'll have all three beaches will be probably covered under the same contracts, and the same people will all be out here on this side doing the work. So this is the first of two. The next one's coming, which will be the debris management, getting it off the street, getting it piled, then ultimately getting it reduced for counting.
Thank you. And a motion?
I move we award RFP number 10-2425 for debris monitoring services to Debris Tech LLC.
Second,
We have a motion that's second. Ms. Golding.
I just want to thank Dennis for your creative term. And I think we should, from here forth, use weather adventure instead of the other word so that we don't have to say that word. Anyway, thank you, Dennis.
To clarify, though, I think he said adventures in weather, which I kind of prefer. But either way, acceptable. Madam Clerk, please note that for the record. Mr. Wouters.
Thank you, Mayor. Director, I was just curious, if we never use their services, does this cost the taxpayers any money?
It does not cost us one nickel until we engage them. So when we have notice, a lot of times what we'll be doing is reaching out to both of our vendors in advance, letting them know, putting them on notice, letting them know we're expecting some activity. And then as we get closer, just like everybody else is watching that same event, we're also communicating with them to make the determination. So we have in the past, we have cut POs and we've had them ready to issue, still never spent any dollars since I've been here, knock on wood. So in 5.5 years, we haven't had to engage any. But this is one of those you don't want to not have in place in the event you need it, because in the event we need it, there's going to be a whole lot of other people that need it. And if we don't have any contract, we're probably going to be helpless on our own little island out here. So it's very advantageous to have both this item and the next item just secured in writing. That's why we don't do any extensions on this or anything else. We just do flat contract terms, is because we've got to manage this one. We've got to make sure we always have it in place, and we can't let it lapse, and we can't take a chance on entering the market and holding it up on multiple, reloads as we begin to approve further down the road. So,
And I too favor adventures in weather. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Madam Clerk, roll call.
Councilmember Horn,
Yes.
Councilmember Jansen,
Yes.
Councilmember Sutton,
Yes.
Councilmember Wouters,
Yes.
Councilmember Golding,
Yes,
Mayor Hoffman.
Yes, motion carries. Item 2.
I move we authorize the mayor and city manager to negotiate and execute any contract as a result of this bid award.
second,
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Madam Clerk, roll call.
Councilmember Jansen,
Yes.
Councilmember Sutton,
Yes.
Councilmember Wouters,
Yes.
Councilmember Golding,
yes,
Councilmember Horn,
yes.
Mayor Hoffman.
Yes, motion carries. Item E.
Okay, E. This is for RFP number 09-2425. This is actually for the standby contract for debris management, recovery, and response services. We have 2 recommended awards. They will be 2 separate individual contractors. That kind of gives us the opportunity to cash in on whatever might be more available in the event we have a smaller scale emergency of some form where we need to engage somebody. Might be better to have somebody else other than just a large firm like Ceres, who has been our preferred #1 provider for I think the last 10 years on there as well. So again, another long-term contract holder, as well as a new person that we haven't had for a long time underway. Like I said, again, we bid out to 10, and that's what we requested from as far as total number of respondents. I thought I had a number of how many we had. 10 submitted, so I apologize. There was 10 companies submitted, and then this went through a complete separate process, as did the last, where they interviewed all 10 of those packets, and they put together their ratings and rankings, and then ultimately put all those together, which ultimately gets you the 2 lowest scoring or 2 highest scoring two highest scoring numbers to be able to be the two preferred vendors in this particular instance.
And motion, please.
I move we award RFP number 09-2425 for standby contract for debris management, recovery, and response services to Ceres Environmental and DRC Emergency Services.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Ms. Golding?
Dennis, in one of our briefings, you talked about there being an issue that you wanted to sort out with Waste Pro, and, whoever is doing our debris management. Is that sorted out at this point?
It is not sorted out, but I've been waiting on them to be able to submit some information with me. So last week I got everything all put together and I finally got all of the puzzle pieces on my desk. I've been dealing with some other issues, so I haven't put those puzzle pieces together and figured out how to move forward with that issue, but it's still there and we still know it's there and we're going to be bringing it back for some consideration. I just got to work through a little further with the process. I got to get with Mr. Miggett and get something together to figure out exactly how to write it up. It's still there. We still know it's there. I just finally got the final language I was waiting on last week.
Does that impact this contract at all?
It does not. For the most part, that basically covers in the event that we have an adventure in weather that we don't engage our contractor in, but we understand that they're going to do additional work. Our existing vendor is going to have to do a lot of work with the amount of debris and stuff we pull out with some of these near misses even. So that's what it's aimed at, is to fill that gap between actually calling somebody in, because these people will come in with trucks, trailers, the whole ball of wax. They're going to be ready to roll in, stay here, live here, do whatever they got to do till they get everything cleaned out. That's not what we're talking about in this asset. The piece that I'm dealing with Waste Pro is more of how do we manage the excess load when we have excess due to adventures in weather that we have to capture and we'll still be able to get off the street. But how do we be able to pay them appropriately, because it's been kind of excluded as one of the contract pieces. So it's still out there. We know it's there. And I've assured them we're still focused on doing the right thing for the right reason. So, in the event we get caught before then, we're all going to react and do what we need to do, and we'll get the paperwork finished when we get the paperwork finished. So.
Okay, thank you.
Just kind of while we're off track a little bit on that, I don't think that we've activated this contract since Matthew or Irma. And just for the council to know while we're talking about it, one of the things that was really confusing to our citizens is that we were asking them not bag their debris, just to put it by the curb. And the reason why is they were coming by with claw trucks, picking things up and taking it out and chipping it down in the industrial area. And Neptune Beach was doing it in Jarboe Park, so everybody could really see it. So if we have any adventures in weather and we do activate this contract, we do try to message that out to the citizens. They do not want to put their stuff in not bags, but they really need to in this case. So if you guys can help amplify that, should we get to that point. Any other questions or comments from council? Madam Clerk, roll call.
Councilmember Sutton,
Yes.
Councilmember Wouters,
Yes.
Councilmember Golding,
Yes.
Councilmember Horn,
Yes.
Councilmember Jansen,
Yes.
Mayor Hoffman.
Yes, motion carries. Motion 2.
I move we authorize the mayor and city manager to negotiate and execute any contract as a result of this bid award.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Madam Clerk, roll call.
Councilmember Wouters,
Yes.
Councilmember Golding,
Yes.
Councilmember Horn,
Yes.
Councilmember Jansen,
Yes.
Councilmember Sutton,
Yes.
Mayor Hoffman.
Yes, motion carries. Last one.
And my final item is just an emergency purchase. And it's not really emergency in the aspect that we've already approved the purchase and moving ahead, as far as we have a need at the wastewater plant to order a new shaft, because we actually had a shaft break and come out. And so we have to order a new shaft. And again, this is some of that fun critical equipment that comes from Europe. It comes on a boat. So it's expensive and it's also very cumbersome. So what we did is we put together a quote to encompass 2 shafts. We have 16 of them operating on a daily basis. We have one right now that is down because it's broke. So we need one. And so we put together a quote to be able to bring 2 with the shipping, they can ship them together, so that saves us some dollars on the shipping side. I did add a little bit of contingency because they don't assign me an accurate shipping number until they're actually manufactured, which could take 12 weeks. And if it takes 12 weeks and the shipping costs go up, I just kind of covered so that I didn't have to come back and get a new cost for shipping because prices went up in the event of that. But otherwise, this is just an equipment purchase. There was a couple pictures that were in the packet that showed the bearing that's underneath the mixer. And then we actually had the video of when the shaft broke and when it came out of the mixer, because it's the long mixer that's the entire height of those SBRs. So it was actually above, and you could see it come out of the motor and swing out into the water. You couldn't see anything because of the water that was in there, but you could see what was happening with the shaft and when it broke. So we were able to. This is just to get 2 more shafts coming, so we can get that one back up and operating.
Thank you, Mr. Barron, and a motion.
I move we approve the purchase of sequential batch reactor mixer shafts for the water reclamation facility for an amount not to exceed $74,456.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Mr. Jansen.
I just hit my light before anybody else did. I think this is very important that we get this, and I hope that all my colleagues agree that we should give Dennis Behrman the shaft.
Twice.
Second.
Any other comments? I'm almost scared to ask. Okay. Madam Clerk, roll call.
Councilmember Golding,
Yes.
Councilmember Horn,
Yes.
Councilmember Jansen,
Yes.
Councilmember Sutton,
Yes.
Councilmember Wouters,
Yes.
Mayor Hoffman.
Yes, motion carries. On that note, Director Barron, you are dismissed. Okay, moving on to ordinances. Ms. Nelson.
Hello, Karen Nelson, Deputy City Manager. This first ordinance seeks to amend the general employees retirement system by increasing the maximum benefit cap from 100,000 to 110,000 effective October 1st, 2025, and increasing the cap to 111,000 effective October 1st, 2026, and increasing the cap to 112,000 effective October 1st, 2027. It also increases the rate of interest paid for the backdrop benefit from 3% to 3.5%. Additionally, this amendment will afford members of the retirement system the opportunity to purchase credited service, either military service or prior government service, up to 3 years in our plan. There's no cost to the city. It does, though, provide an effective recruitment and retention tool for incoming employees who have credited service at another organization that may be eligible to transfer over to our plan. There is an actuarial impact statement attached for your review, and on page 7 of that statement is the bottom line impact to the general employees plan. The illustrative city portion in the upcoming fiscal year will increase by $138,785. That's all I have. Happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Will you read the ordinance by title, please?
An ordinance of the City of Jacksonville Beach, Florida, amending Chapter 2, Article 5, Division 5, Section 2-162, General Employees Retirement System of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Jacksonville Beach, providing for the purchase of prior government and military credited service, an increase to the annual benefit cap, and an increase to the interest rate for backdrop, providing for the repeal of conflicting ordinances, severability, Scrivener's errors, codification, and an effective date.
Thank you. This ordinance is before the council for a public hearing and consideration on its first reading. I will now open the public hearing on ordinance number 2025-8228. We do not have any speaker cards on this item. Would anyone in the audience like to speak for or against this ordinance? Seeing none, public hearing is closed. May I have a motion?
I move we approve ordinance number 2025-8228 on the first reading, amending the City Code of Ordinances, Chapter 2, Article 5, Division 5, Section 2-162, General Employees Retirement System, and schedule a second reading for October 20th, 2025.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion from council? Madam Clerk, roll call.
Councilmember Horn, Councilmember Jansen,
Yes.
Councilmember Sutton,
No.
Councilmember Wouters,
No.
Councilmember Golding,
Yes.
Mayor Hoffman.
Yes, motion carries. Next item?
The next ordinance is to amend the police officers' retirement system by increasing the maximum benefit cap from 100,000 to 110, effective October 1st, 2025, and increasing the maximum benefit cap to 111,000 on October 1st, 2026, and increasing the maximum benefit cap to 112,000 effective October 1st, 2027, and increasing the rate of interest paid for the backdrop benefit from 3% to 3.5%. A difference between this one and the one that you just read for the general employees is that purchase of service. There is already a similar provision in the police officer's plan, so that amendment was not necessary. And I do want to add that this was included in our collective bargaining negotiations and approved by the union. Thank you.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, will you read the ordinance by title, please?
An ordinance of the City of Jacksonville Beach, Florida, amending Chapter 2, Article 5, Division 6, Section 2-163, Police Officers Retirement System of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Jacksonville Beach, providing for an increase to the annual benefit cap and an increase to the interest rate for backdrop, providing for the repeal of conflicting ordinances, severability, Scrivener's errors, codification, and an effective date.
Thank you. This ordinance is before the council for a public hearing and consideration on its first reading. I will now open the public hearing on ordinance number 2025-8229. Would anyone like to speak in favor of or against the ordinance? We have no speaker cards. Public hearing is closed. May I have a motion?
I move we approve ordinance number 2025-8229 on the first reading, amending City Code of Ordinances, Chapter 2, Article 5, Division 6, Section 2-163, Police Officers Retirement System, and schedule a second reading for October 20th, 2025.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Madam Clerk, roll call.
Councilmember Jansen,
Yes.
Councilmember Sutton,
Yes.
Councilmember Wouters,
Yes.
Councilmember Golding,
Yes.
Councilmember Horn,
Yes.
Mayor Hoffman.
Yes, motion carries. Thank you, Ms. Nelson. Final item, I will turn it over to City Attorney Miggott.
Thank you, Mayor. This item is before you with a recommended motion to continue. At our last hearing, council directed to bring us back for a second hearing on September 15th. Due to the Labor Day holiday, we could not get the advertisement in time. Under Florida law, the advertisement has to run 10 days before the hearing. We could not meet that with the holiday. So therefore, the solution to this is I am recommending that council continue the second reading of this ordinance to October 6th, and we will make sure that the advertisement gets in time so it can be heard that night. Thank you.
Thank you. Can we have the motion as recommended?
I move we continue the second reading of ordinance number 2025-8227 to October 6th, 2025.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Mr. Jansen?
Yeah, real quick. So part of, to our attorney, part of the notification requires publication in a newspaper. Is that correct?
That is correct, yes.
I think that we should, maybe I'll bring it up in a future briefing, have a discussion about how we can amend this or what this looks like moving forward, considering that we don't even have a published newspaper in our municipality. Duval does, I believe they have the Business Journal, but even the Times Union doesn't print a paper any longer. So just thought, food for thought.
If I may briefly respond, we actually have already started looking at that earlier this calendar year. I met with planning and development staff, so I'd be happy to bring something forward at a future briefing to update you all more on this matter, which is slowly, but it is evolving over the last few months and years.
Excellent. I knew I could count on you, and therefore you will not get the shots.
Any other comments from council? Madam, Mr. Wouters?
I just want to thank Councilman Jansen for his thoughts. Anything to increase transparency and communication with the residents would be a step in the right direction. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments from council? Madam Clerk, roll.
Councilmember Sutton,
Yes.
Councilmember Wouters,
Yes.
Councilmember Golding,
Yes.
Councilmember Horn,
Yes.
Councilmember Jansen,
Yes,
Mayor Hoffman.
Yes, motion carries. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
I move to adjourn.
Second?
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?